Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man Network Transmission. In the last part, we took care of the power plant stage and fought off Rockman, and now I got a full Thunder Beam and a Rockman set in my pack just to have it around, and Thunder Beam's even in my folder because it's not a bad battle chip to have around. And now it's time for us to head over back to the internet because now we have the level 4 code, so we can access that security cube in Global Area 2 not too far from Dex's PC. But before we do that, I want to go grab an unlocker as usual because, well, you should almost always do that anyway. In fact, now that I think about it, there's literally not a time you shouldn't do that barring the very start of the game when you just have no zenny worth a damn to be able to get any. So we've been to the security cube in question before, but just because we're in the same area, I'm just going to speed our way over there. You could theoretically wait until now to get any of the blue mystery data that are up in this direction anyway. I just don't like to do that because I like to be as powered up as I can as early as I can. Also, this is not a bad place to grind up some long swords in the case you want those for your folder, especially if you come in and out of Global Area 3 back and forth once we open this cube. Okay, unlocking the security cube with a level 4 code. And now for an interesting note. Global Area 3 is a bit unique. This place is... it's the deepest part of the net. The viruses are stronger in this area. Want to make a shortcut to this place? Ah, yeah, please do. This location was added to the shortcuts. Alright, from now on you can jack into this place right from your home. So now we can just directly access Global Area 3 from Lan's house, which means the only areas you don't have quick access to on the internet are distinctly, I think, just Den Area 2 and Global Area 1. Which is a little weird considering how small the internet is in that case, but oh well. Now we saw a familiar face up there, but I want to come this way first. The undernet's up ahead. What? The corridor under here? Down there is the data graveyard, where trash data is processed. This is the undernet. Kids aren't allowed in here. Scram. Guess we can't go past there for a while then. Okay. So this data graveyard is a very real thing, and it's actually a little bit of a death trap because there's a bunch of conveyor belts over spikes down here, but at the point we're out health-wise, you can survive a couple of dips into those, no problem. There is an item here that we saw beneath the teleport into Global Area 3, a yellow mystery data, which means it is a key, and we are going to need that eventually. But for reasons of handling things efficiently, I'm going to wait to grab that until the last possible moment so I can showcase what happens if you don't grab that down the line. Just keep that in mind, although if you don't care about it, just grab it now. There's more spikes up there with the rotating platforms that will try to push you into more spikes. Not a big worry all the same. I should note though, Global Area 3 does have a single new enemy to talk about, which is the Spiky 3. Same thing as the Spiky 1 and 2, just higher damage and HP. But they are a very good way to get any of the later Heat-type chips, namely Heat V, Heat Cross, and Heat Spread for good area of effect fire damage. Not a bad way to grind them too, because you can just jack in and out pretty quickly. It's a little tedious, but it's worth doing all the same, I'd say, if you like that type of chip. Gee, I wonder who that is. Proto Man! Chod, is that you? Lan. Alright, if you're here, that must mean the zero count is up ahead. Hey, Chod. You came all this way, why don't you go with us? I don't care about that reward anymore. Mega Man is... You want to slow me down? Hold me back? Whatever. You'd better go home. What? Chod, you jerk! I'm telling you, just go home. Come on, Proto Man. Time's wasting. Yes, sir. They're gone. Bah, the snob. Mega Man, let's go too. And now time for probably my least favorite part of the game in terms of how it structures its level placements. We need a link code X to get past this security. Alright, so we can't get past there until we do the stage above us, because in here is an entirely new computer to do. Welcome to the old area, with the song I think is a little too tense for what it is. It's just like Higsby said, this area is really run down. Wow, this place is written in a really ancient language. So this is old area. Mega Man, are you okay? Can you move alright? When the area is this old, it usually affects me in odd ways, but it looks like I'm operating normally. Maybe somebody made the place look old. The guy who's using the Zero virus? If it's him, then there may be traps. Yeah, let's be careful. This level's honestly a little bit on the plain side, because while there is a bit of a theming both to its visuals and enemies and hazards, there's only really one enemy that I would say is a complete pain in the ass. Technically two, and those aren't until the second computer even. But not only we do have Swordy 2s here, they can give you the Fire Sword battle chip. We got a Can Devil as well. Can Devils work the same way they do in the RPGs here, where there's the main Can Devil, but then there's a candle nearby that is constantly regenerating their HP at a pretty fast tick here in Network Transmission. So you need to try and just concentrate your damage as fast as you can on them. Navi chips are pretty good for this, and anything water damage will just take them down pretty quickly. Notably though, a lot of the mystery data around here can drop sword-type chips, and well, we got some sword-type hazards that look a little scary, but they're not instant kill, they just do damage to you, on top of the fact their timing is relatively forgiving, rather. If there's something that is really annoying about Old Area 1 in specific, it's its literal level design structure, where we're going all the way to the right, but then we're going to jump up some platforms and then head back to the left. And if you miss a jump when heading back to the left, you need to go all the way back right. Admittedly, that does mean if you know where the teleport to Area 2 is relatively early on in the level, you could just spam double jumps to hopefully get up there as soon as you can and completely ignore this section. That does mean you're probably going to be without double jumps for Area 2, but you could do worse, honestly. Although from memory, I actually don't remember if there's a sub-chip that recharges your battle chips in this one. I don't think there is. I think I'm thinking technically of the folder back battle chip. That's a Giga chip, I believe, in Battle Network 3 Lite version? But if that's there, then I guess that can come in handy here. If anything, fast gauge and full gauge are going to start coming in handy a lot more often around now, depending on your playstyle. This level kind of weirdly summarizes my thoughts on the game in general, where you can tell they had ideas on what to do with things, but they just either didn't know how to execute them, or when they used ideas, they had no ideas elsewhere. In a way that's kind of hard to describe, I think at this game's worst, it's not painful, it's not horrific, it's just kind of uninteresting, and in some ways that is worse, but when the game does work, there's glitters there, where it feels like they had something going, but they just didn't choose the right direction. Also, here's one of the most annoying virus types in the game, returning from Battle Network 1 and Battle Network 2, and I think even BN3. We got Megalians! This enemy type will patrol an area vertically up and down, and whenever it gets about perpendicularly level with you, it will charge at you and do heavy damage pretty quickly. They also hide behind an aura, which is a little different from a barrier. A barrier takes a certain amount of HP and then disappears. Auras will not disappear until they take a certain amount of damage, period. As in, if you don't do 100 damage or more, they will stay there. If they take 99, it will stick around. But since their main attack method is using their head to charge at you, you can hit them while their head's outside the aura to kill them that way. They can drop the aura battle chips that do the same thing. The main thing is auras are weak to a certain element. Since that was an aqua aura, if you hit it with an elect chip, it will dissipate immediately. It's just a little awkward to hit with that at some points. They are massively annoying, but I don't think they're annoying for the same way they are in the RPGs here, whereas in the RPGs, they're annoying because you have to do that to them within a very strict time limit, often killing other enemies at the same time to get their battle chip, whereas here it's just that they're hard to hit, more accurately. Because they're honestly not too hard to hit in the RPGs, as long as you have good chip setups. And here in Old Area 2, we got a lot more of the same stuff going on, but there is a new enemy along the way in here. There is a Swordy 3 somewhere in here as well, and they have the Aqua Sword battle chip if they drop that. They also, I think, technically have Wide and Long Sword, but you want Aqua Sword but not only a program advance now I think about it, but also just for library completion. Thankfully, they're very easy to find if you're looking for certain mystery data around here. Got a potentially worrisome platforming section right here. The two ways to do this are either to use dash at like the very edge of a platform to get across the way, or sort of Donkey Kong Country with a double jump, where you fall off the platform moving towards the other direction and then double jump back up, which is pretty easy to do. It's just a little stressful feeling because Mega Man's downward momentum isn't devastating in this game, but you go a little faster than you think you do at first, so it can throw you off. Not as bad as Mega Man 1 with that, though. Nowhere near as bad, especially as I've learned over the years why that is. Apparently, Mega Man 1, the reason Gutsman stage, you sink like a rock, is because when you're standing on the Gutsman platforms, apparently, your downward momentum doesn't reset because it doesn't count as you touching the ground, so you're just technically always falling and accelerating based on the game's programming, which is kind of funny. this section of the level can be decently dangerous because we actually have a lot of one-tile platforms with swordies that can hit you with long swords across the way. And because of Mega Man's knockback in this, that can lead to some deaths. Ooh, an Aqua Blade. That is a water elemental longsword. I don't think we had those yet. And I believe that gives me access to one of my favorite program advances. What I could really recommend, actually, if you like program advances, is grind this level over and over again for screen mystery data, and hopefully get all of the swords and blades that you can, and just spam the elemental swords for the program advances that they have. I'll show those off down the line, though, when I actually do a lot of them. Tree Bomb's not too bad against Megalians. Oh god, Proto Man. Proto Man? You're really damaged. What happened? I really blew it. Chad, what happened? I wasn't careful enough since this is such an old area, but that Navi. A Navi? Yeah, its battle capabilities are upgraded to an unusual level there. And during the battle, Proto Man's processes suddenly slowed down. Does that mean Proto Man's been infected by the Zero virus too? It looks that way. Only way I could have been defeated like this. Yeah, no doubt. Chad, you gotta jack out Proto Man now. Proto Man, jack out. Yes, sir. Chad. Alright, I'll be back. It's not like Proto Man was deleted or anything. Lan, be careful if you go in there. It's not like any other Navi. It's a strong, customized automatic Navi, guarding the Zero virus's secret. Okay, I get the picture. Mega Man, get psyched up for this one. Okay, I'm ready. But before we actually go into the boss fight itself, you know what that means. It's time for us to do some speed up and get a specific setup going. And this is another fight I can really recommend doing that for, honestly. Oh wait, I already had Aqua Blades? I forgot about that. Now there's another HP memory. We're getting up there in the HP, I think, at this point. I want to say we're at 600 plus by now? I haven't looked at the bottom left of the, pause menu in a little bit. As weird as some of the boss fights are, I really do think moments like this are where the folder planning for this game can shine. But it requires so much waiting if you don't put a lot of Zenny into the full cust or fast cust subchips that it feels kind of self-defeating. Which is kind of a shame, because I think the idea of having this moveset that can evolve through a platform like this, that's not the direct way that Mega Man does it normally, can really work. They just kind of mess it up here. Alright, I forgot I actually already have all three of the elemental blades in here. So I'm going for a program advance here, and one we're kind of skipping past one for another one for. Fire, Aqua, and Elect blades in order, on top of anything else you have, will give you Life Sword 3, which is Life Sword 1 that we used, I believe, on Gutsman, just much stronger. I think this is 400 damage versus the original one's 200. That's pretty good. And we're going to get our MP back up because I'm going to need it for my high cannons or slashers after that. Or Ice Slasher, technically. Slasher is a different battle chip. This boss is kind of funny, though, given the theming of the rest of the stage, because it's more present in the rewards and enemies rather than the actual stage. Also in the fact that there was an idea for this enemy that was in the original idea, but they didn't use it in the game. They used it more in the anime, weirdly. Heh, more chumps. Who are you? You're the one who beat Proto Man? They call me Sword Man. I'm here to slice and dice anyone foolish enough to try and enter here. My sword will slice you to electronic ribbons. Sword Man? Who's controlling you in the Zero virus? Why are they doing all of this? I don't have time to chat with fools such as yourself. On guard. Dang. Mega Man, get psyched. Battle routine set. Execute. So the interesting idea they had for this character, more so in the anime than the game, though, apparently was planned for the game. Each of his swords are actually different heads, and they had different personalities. So Swordman, I'm melting through his HP, but the dangerous thing is, if he's doing this attack and you attack him before it goes off, he'll just use it automatically in a much faster method that's very hard to dodge. But I didn't care because I can't get his Navi chip there anyway, so I just did that and got Sonic Blade, which is a pretty good sword chip for that. Oh, I can't believe we beat him. Yeah, he was pretty tough. Huh? What is it? look what I found mixed in with the pieces of Swordman's data. And we got link code X. Is that a passcode for the link? Is that what he was guarding? This might be a passcode for the broken link to the Zero account. Great, okay. Let's get out of this area and check out the broken link. So, the rough structure of this section of the game is do a stage, go back to Global Area 3, open a thing. Do a stage, go back to Global Area 3, do a thing again. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. So Sonic Blade, if memory serves, is I want to say it's a wide sword or a long sword that then sends a shockwave to your left and right that does decent damage. I think it does the same damage as the on the tin number. So it's not an awful battle chip, honestly. I recommend it a lot. I just don't use it too much because I have other priorities on top of the fact that the blades do more damage. What is kind of neat is his Navi chip. But first, let's talk about the boss himself while I'm actually going into the Net Battle Simulator. So he's got 3 attacks. The one where he spins the 2 swords around, they can block some shots, but if you hit them, he'll send them both at you at once. But he'll send one after the other at you anyway, and you have to slide out of the way. There's a really annoying one he does where he'll kind of go to the top part of the screen and just move left and right above you to try and impale you directly. And when he does that, he actually does cause a shockwave that stuns you long enough, and I think it can even damage you after the fact pretty easily. And he's got a sword attack outright where he swings his sword and sends a sonic boom forward. That can be pretty hard to dodge. The most annoying attack, really, is when he does the slam down, because when he's up in the air like that, he's completely immune to damage. And with the way this game's combat works, that doesn't feel like a good meld of things. Mind you, there's not many bosses in Mega Man that are immune to damage, period, in a lot of cases anyway, and those don't usually feel great to begin with, so maybe that's just a bit of a trend there. Swordman's battle chip, if you get it, is a little bit of a misleading one. If memory serves, it says it unleashes a hard-hitting sword attack in some form. And it says it only does 60 damage. The thing is, it's a multi-hit combo that is fine for viruses, but the thing with using multi-hit attacks on bosses is because Navi chip basically automatically guarantees their invincibility period. You'll maybe hit 1 or 2 of the slices, but not all of them. You could even see that a little bit with Fireman, where he hits them once and then hits them again after the fact, but that doesn't mean you get all the damage out of it. There's only really one multi-hit Navi chip I really like, and it's more or less one of the last ones you get universally. But with that, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 10, now that we finished Swordman's stage, we're gonna head back to Global Area 3 and see whose stage is next. See you guys then.